What's up, everyone? Arctic here, and as you guys can see, I brought the amazing intro back. You guys probably haven't seen that one for a while, or if you watched Skyless's Titanfall montage, you probably saw it there. But yeah, I brought it back because the content is going to be very similar in some ways to what you guys saw with Gears. And this is a game I'm going to spend a lot of time kind of planning out content and showing you guys. I've already got some people kind of saying, hey, this isn't for me. That's perfectly fine. You guys, and I'm a big advocate for this. Find the content that you enjoy, because I enjoy making this specific content at this specific time. So I do what I enjoy. I highly encourage you to do the same. This is actually a pilot only or pilot TDM gameplay. And if you're unfamiliar with it, if you haven't played it, basically if you kill bots, I think it only counts towards your Titan. It doesn't count towards the overall score. So it is a little bit better than attrition, but it definitely has some of those elements still there. Kind of you might get confused with a pilot versus a grunt, which can happen on occasion, or grunts, shooting you in the back and making you pop up on radar sometimes because they spot you or whatnot. But just the normal stuff that you might see, but it is a little bit more enjoyable for me than attrition, which is why I didn't go to attrition for this particular gameplay. This first minute of this is absolutely ridiculous, which is one of the reasons I posted it. Now, this server, let me give you a little bit of backstory on this. I played like 10 games of this TDM as my, okay, I'm not going to play CTF because I'm by myself. Let me try some other stuff out. And I didn't play this at all on launch day. I didn't play it at all so far today, and I wanted to put it out there, or I wanted to give it a try, I should say, because it was something that I was kind of mildly interested in and seeing how people were playing. One of the things I immediately noticed is that a lot more players were using silencers or suppressors, particularly on the carbine. So I quickly was like, okay, let me switch to the suppressor, and then I went cloak. Which I found to be a lot better for moving around the map because I don't like sitting stationary. So, if the other players are sitting stationary and I'm flying around the map, they're probably going to catch me and put some shots into me. Not necessarily kill me, but put some shots into me. So it makes it a lot harder for me to play how I want to play. So the cloak definitely helps with that. If you're playing TDM and you have a more aggressive play style, definitely highly encourage that you run suppressor and cloak as your tactical ability so you can move around the map. So after I switched to that, I think I played 2 games with Stem, maybe even 1 game. I think the first game I popped in, I was like, oh, these guys are running cloak. Let me switch to cloak. And then about 2 games in or 3 games in to this server I was in, I switched to the suppressor on my carbine. Now, the server itself, and this is where I'm going to get into matchmaking and some of my Titanfall experience, but we were getting slaughtered. I think I was the only player on my team to consecutively go like plus 10 or something like that for my team. We were getting beat like 50-27, and I would have 20 kills. This is how the night was going in this particular server. LA Joker was in there, who I killed early on. He got pretty much rocked at the beginning of that. Him and I were going back and forth. There was another guy, Ionic something, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who was also pretty good. And they think they had 1 other player. And I don't know if they were in a party or not, and they kind of, started to drop out as the more times we played. But people on my team, we got the saying for the live streams, if you guys have heard it, new batch of cookies. I had new batches of cookies on my team frequently. I mean, they were just popping in and out, just in and out, because they were getting frustrated that they couldn't do anything. There was multiple times where, my guys on my team had sub 5 kills, like 12, 15 deaths. That happened quite a number of times, and it's all in the matchmaking at this point. And I feel like Respawn and Microsoft, EA, they're using whatever the default matchmaker is that Microsoft kind of hyped up before the launch of the Xbox One, saying that it was new and improved and they had this done. And no, it's not. It's the same old matchmaker that they had back in the day when we were complaining about matchmaking. And basically Respawn is just saying, okay, we're going to take your skill-based matchmaker rank or whatever that Microsoft gives, and we're just going to throw you into the game as quickly as possible. It does an awesome job of getting you into games quickly and having you play maybe depending on your circumstances. My circumstances, after each game, we got way more than 80 seconds finding a new match because we were in a party of 6 on CTF. And so a new batch of cookies would come in, see ZYN tags, dip out. Rinse and repeat that multiple times, and you see we're sitting in the lobby maybe 3-4 minutes at a time between matches, while everyone else, if you're in a non-party you get to continue to play 80 seconds. So that kind of sucked for us, knowing that people were just going to come in, leave, come in, leave, come in, leave. And that kind of bothers me. Now, again, I mentioned my experience. I sit in servers for very long times. Particularly, I go out of my way to play in servers where I am challenged. And I talked about this on Gears of War. I'm going to say it again on Titanfall. I like playing by myself to challenge myself so I can get better at the game. That is just how I play. I know a lot of people don't do that. Some people don't enjoy struggling. Some people don't enjoy having to do everything for the team or be the guy that constantly under pressure. Some people just want a relaxing experience. But when I play shooters, that's just how I play. Like if I wanted to play a more relaxing game like Plants vs. Zombies, I wouldn't care. That's a different type of game. But in this, matchmaking is very important. So, for me, I go out of my way, like I said, to find matches where I'm being challenged. I will sometimes, if I'm by myself and I just wreck a server, I will leave and find another one so that I can find someone that is either on the losing team and I get challenged so I get better, or if on a winning team and it's really close, I just like that back and forth. So that's my mentality when it comes to this specifically. Nevertheless, the matchmaking needs a complete reevaluation, in my opinion. Game modes for me, again, this is the only TDM gameplay you guys are probably going to see with any type of frequency. I am more of a objective guy. I play hardpoint, CTF. I'm really CTF or die at this point because I think it offers the most value for what this game has to offer from a game mechanic standpoint, movement, utilizing routes, understanding map flow, all that stuff. I feel like Hardpoint kind of has some of that, but CTF really shines because, in order to capture the flag, the fastest route you have to take, you have to know where to move around, how to get to place A to B, how to cut people off. You need to know that, and you need to know it quickly. So I feel like CTF probably offers the most value for your buck when it comes to what the game has to offer. So for me, I'm all about CTF. You guys will probably see a shit ton of CTF on my channel. And I plan on doing, I would try to break down other game modes and how I would play them and stuff like that. Like I said, I have the full spectrum of game commentary type styles that I've done in the past for this. And then the other thing I'm kind of looking at is gun gameplay. It's very similar to Call of Duty. But the vertical aspect of it completely changes, scenarios that you can encounter. And, we were kind of talking about it at the studio where I work, Edge of Reality. And, one of the conversations that happened was like, you get so many awesome encounters in this game. It's really hard to convey to a viewer sometimes that thinks, oh my God, this is Call of Duty or this is Battlefield or whatever. And here's my example. If you're sitting in those games and let's say you're locking down a point, let's say you're locking down domination on Crash or whatever, there's going to be a set number of places that people can come from, opponents. It's like they're going to walk down this street, they're going to go in this corridor, they're going to spawn in this location, they might be in this window occasionally. You don't get that with Titanfall. You get this guy might run here, he might jump over here, he might double jump past me, he might be on my left, he could be completely behind me. You get so many different scenarios of encounters that it makes that experience for me much more enjoyable than I'm going to sit in this wall or up against this wall, I'm going to head glitch, and as this guy comes around, I'm going to shoot him. You can try to do that in Titanfall, but more often than not, you're going to lose, especially if you play objective game modes. Like, you can't sit, and if you don't know how to move, you're going to lose. So that's what really makes it compelling to me from a gun gameplay standpoint. I am not going to have the same scenario twice in a row, 3 times in a row. As the opening of this video suggests, I had a guy that was zipping down a zip line. I killed him. I was getting shot on my back. I did a double jump up against a wall, hit the other wall in the corner as I'm shooting the guy that shot me first in the back. Like, you're not going to get that in Call of Duty. I'm sorry. You're just not. There's very few games that offer that type of survivability and mobility and allow you to execute on it if you understand what is possible and know your surroundings. So for me, gun gameplay is about where it should be. There are times where, and I've played against players where I can't track them because their movement is so good, and I'm like, man, I need to get a little bit better. And there's also been times where it's been easy peasy because someone is not utilizing the movement, or I catch them off guard and they still don't utilize the movement, or they're just, not very good in general. So that's part of the matchmaking issue. The only other thing I've really noticed from an overall experience is there's a couple latency issues. I've noticed players rubber banding quite frequently, not getting put in servers where players have a similar ping seems to be a problem, and occasional hit detection like latency. So if I'm shooting someone, they die a second or two later, but my ping is fine. So those are the overall things that I've seen. I wanted to make this a pretty cut, dry, concise. Colin and I did a review of the game on Frag Logic. I have that down in the description if you care to take a look. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please be on the lookout for more Titanfall gameplay. I promise you it will be very beneficial for you to check it out. So I will check you guys later. Peace.